Leonardo DiCaprio had it all: fame, fortune, and a career that spanned decades. He was an Academy Award-winning actor, a Hollywood legend, and a man whose name alone could fill theaters worldwide. Yet, despite his status, there was one thing missing from his life: a true partner. For years, Leo had dated models, actresses, and high-profile celebrities, but none of those relationships ever lasted. He often felt like his fame got in the way of something real. How could he know if someone loved him for who he truly was, and not just for his money, fame, and influence? That question haunted him for years. One evening, as he sat in his Los Angeles mansion, staring at the ocean waves crashing against the shore, an idea struck him. What if he disguised himself as an ordinary man? What if he stripped away the glamour and wealth and went out into the world as just a regular guy? It was a crazy idea, but Leonardo loved a challenge. Leo put his plan into action immediately. He packed a simple duffel bag with old, worn-out clothes, baggy jeans, faded t-shirts, and scuffed-up sneakers. He grew out his beard, stopped shaving, and let his hair become a little messy. He even changed his speech, dropping the smooth, charismatic tone he used in interviews. To complete his disguise, he rented a tiny, run-down apartment on the outskirts of Los Angeles. He left his credit cards and luxury cars behind, carrying only a few dollars in his pocket. He wanted to experience the world from the perspective of an average man, someone no one recognized. His plan was simple. He would go out into the city, work odd jobs, and meet people naturally. If a woman liked him, despite his humble appearance, then he would know she was genuine. Leo's first few weeks as an ordinary man were rough. When he applied for jobs, people looked at him strangely. A few recognized him but laughed, thinking he was some crazy guy pretending to be Leonardo DiCaprio. Others dismissed him entirely, seeing only a scruffy-looking man who seemed out of place. He finally managed to land a job as a dishwasher at a small diner. The work was exhausting, and his co-workers didn't treat him with much respect. To them, he was just another struggling man trying to make ends meet. Dating was even harder. When he tried to talk to women at coffee shops or grocery stores, they barely gave him a second glance. Some outright rejected him, while others were polite but uninterested. At first, Leo was frustrated. Was this how ordinary people felt? Ignored, dismissed, and judged based on appearance alone? One day, while taking a break from work, Leo wandered into a local bookstore. He loved books, he always had. But now, standing there in his ragged clothes, he felt out of place. A young woman in her mid-20s stood by the fiction section, flipping through a novel. She had an air of quiet intelligence, her eyes full of curiosity. Leo hesitated before approaching her. He had been rejected so many times that he was starting to doubt his own plan, but something about her intrigued him. "Excuse me," he said, his voice soft but steady. "Is that book any good?" She glanced up at him, her expression neutral. "I'm not sure yet. I just started reading." Leo nodded. "I used to read a lot too, but life got in the way." She smiled slightly. Life has a way of doing that. For the first time in weeks, someone was talking to him without dismissing him outright. They continued chatting about books, favorite authors, and storytelling. Unlike others, she didn't ask what he did for a living or judge his appearance. Finally, Leo gathered the courage to ask, "Would you like to grab a coffee sometime?" She considered for a moment before nodding. "Sure, why not?" Her name was Emily, Leo and Emily's relationship started simply. They met for coffee, took walks in the park, and shared stories about their lives. Leo never revealed who he was. He told her his name was Leo, but avoided discussing his past. Emily, in turn, never pressured him. She liked him for who he was, kind, funny, and intelligent. She wasn't impressed by money or status. She valued genuine connection. Leo felt something he hadn't in years: peace. As their bond deepened, Leo faced an internal conflict. How long could he keep the truth from her? Would she feel betrayed when she found out? One evening, as they sat on a park bench watching the sunset, Emily turned to him. "You know," she said, "I don't care if you're rich or poor. I don't care what job you have. I just care that you're a good person." Leo swallowed hard. This was the moment. Taking a deep breath, he said, "Emily, there's something I need to tell you." Leo led Emily to a luxurious car parked a few blocks away. She looked confused as he unlocked it. "I have to show you something," he said. He drove her to a gated mansion overlooking the ocean. As they pulled up, Emily's eyes widened. "Leo, what is this?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. He turned to her. "This is my house." She shook her head in disbelief. "But I thought you—" "I lied," he admitted, "not to deceive you, but because I needed to be sure. My real name is Leonardo DiCaprio." Emily sat in stunned silence. He watched her expression, trying to gauge her reaction. Would she be angry? Would she walk away? Finally she exhaled, shaking her head with a smile. "I knew you looked familiar." Leo chuckled, relieved. "So, you're not mad?" She laughed. "Mad? Number shocked? Absolutely." Then she looked at him seriously. "Why did you do this?" Leo hesitated before answering. "Because I've spent my whole life being famous. Everyone I meet already knows who I am. I wanted to find someone who would love me without the fame, without the money." Emily reached for his hand. "Well, you found her." A year later, Leonardo DiCaprio married Emily in an intimate ceremony away from Hollywood's flashing cameras. He didn't invite the media, didn't sell the wedding photos, and didn't care about the headlines. At the reception, as he stood before their guests, he raised his glass for a toast. "Finding true love is actually easy," he said, "but I wanted to find my wife this way, because I am too famous, and I needed to be sure." Emily smiled at him, and he knew, for the first time in his life, he had found something real.